Welcome back to Saga of Three Kings, session number 80, entitled Middle of Nowhere. Last session, we'll just cut to the chase. They're on the train. Somebody got the bright idea to cut the coupling, and now the train portion that they're in is stopped in the middle of nowhere, hence the title of the episode. They are in the Plane of Shadow, somewhere in between a gateway position connected to the material plane and the dread realm of one hero Rockscale. It's quiet. The sounds of the exterior are nil. There's lightning that seems to be flashing, but it is audioless. It is just the flashes of light off in the distance. The mists persist. We've covered that they're about a 10-foot bubble. There's a 10-foot bubble around the actual train itself. They have experimented a little bit inside. It seems that Raya is kind of settled on thinking about a really cool idea and is thinking about that as we speak. Shambles tried, with the assistance of Brooklyn, some shenanigans involving a piece of a broken bench, and then a javelin, some rope tied to said articles, and watching that there is no ground beneath them, seemingly. Grok hasn't done much. Shambles, in his annoyance with his experimentation, spoke to the pig. When I say spoke to, I mean spoke at the pig creature in the cars. The music has been going. I know the music that's currently playing is not jovial, but the music that is playing in the train cars is. And it's absolutely disconcerting and different than the atmosphere that seems to be kind of weighing down on the group. Somewhere in the midst of all of that, our guest Zopak ripped his get out of jail free card and returned back to the realm of the living at the assistance of his cleric companion Maluriel. Their adventures should be explored in a future date in our Patreon games. That said, what are you doing?
Grok is going to say, please don't do anything that could affect all of us until you clear it with the rest of us.
Who?
Anybody.
I think
anybody. And his eyes are going straight to Raya.
Yeah, Grok,
Any
I'm
one of
sorry.
you,
I should have been a little more considerate with the rope thing.
you guys could have stopped me from cutting the coupling. You did.
I wish I had.
I wish you had too. Have we thought about taking a long rest? What about the idea of Raya
You just
trying
wanna sleep
to...
on it?
Well, and during his rest, Raya can connect with the Feywild. Is that a thing that happens in this realm?
It would take me a whole... I guess just a while.
If he's going to trancing doesn't actually give him a connection with anyone on the Feywild. It just binds him to its energy. But if you want him to try and trance and see if that works, that'd be fine too.
So trance is what we're talking about. Is not a rest; it's a longer process.
Trance is a 4-hour duration, and it supplements elf characters sleeping, not resting. Resting and sleeping are different. Mechanically, in real life, they're not. They're the same thing. Don't
So
everyone
that might
talk?
be one thing to try. A rest would also give us back our spell slots and resources while we figure out what to do next.
Allegedly.
Is that what you want to do? Is take a long rest?
So when I was messing with the rope,
Yeah.
it would absolutely reach past the barrier
Mm-hmm.
of like what would kill us.
The mist. Well, you don't know that the mist will kill you. You just know that
I'm
the
awful
one person who fell through the mists beneath the train car was tethered to you through the Rary's telepathic bond, and after he breached the barrier, you heard his maddening scream as if he was being assailed by some unknown horror.
Seems bad. Seems bad.
Could
I'll just hang out on top of the train for a minute, cool my head, and just sort of keep an eye on the mist, see what's going on out there.
Sure. Yeah, just some flashes. Nothing. There's no silhouettes or anything. Nothing crazy.
No noise, no thunder.
There's no thunder to the lightning. It's just the flashes. Yeah. And since you're spending some time looking at them, you'll note that they seem to be close, but that at the same time they also seem to be very far away. Like they're kind of webbed out through the distance.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit and think.
Take your rest.
Okay.
If that's what you're wanting to do, yeah.
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. Because again, you don't have to sleep to attain a long rest. You just have to spend 8 hours doing nothing. And there will come a point, as you're all kind of like saying, if you're retiring to that, is that what we're doing?
If we are, I'd like to do the tiny hut. See what it does.
Okay. It casts just normal.
What's the wording on tiny hut?
Is it an interdimensional space? Like, what is that?
No, it's
It's-
just a bubble of force.
Yeah, bubble of force that can protect us from anything that's coming in. No spells can be cast through it, kind of thing. And temperature and everything's regulated.
Yep. But you would know
A
from past
sphere
experience,
or a dome?
it is a half sphere. If you want to go ahead and click that spell for me, Jody, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I think that'll, excuse me, answer a lot of Jeremy's questions.
We just hamster ball it down the rail or off the rail.
Unfortunately, not an option. It is technically a dome. It's like
The hamster ball might work though.
He's got the actual hamster ball spell, but that's only one person.
One person. And that's a one-way trip, and I don't know if that's really a experience any of us want to volunteer for.
Suffolk's still on the map, by the way.
Okay, I'm gonna walk there.
You're good. Yeah, I'll be napping on top of the train car.
I'll pick out this little spot over here, lay down, and do some elf dancing.
Okay. I'm assuming you're turning off the music.
Yeah, I think
I
I
guess.
sleep too.
Okay.
It doesn't bother me.
Yep, they're still present for you, regardless, Raya. But as you all kind of get ready to go to sleep, those of you who do not trance, if you're planning on sleeping, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw,
Even if we're in the hut?
even if you're in the hut.
70.
Okay.
14.
Okay.
Do we get a bonus by being near Rooklyn?
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay, is that plus 2, Rooklyn?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so 16.
I don't get the bonus though, so I got a 14.
Okay. And Raya, you are trancing. Okay. So Grok and Rooklyn, you come to the realization that no matter how hard you try, you can't really get to sleep. But the other thing you're noticing too is you're not really tired either. And for you, it's very disconcerting. Disconcerting to the point where you're actually kind of annoyed at it. Christinger and Benson, Benson
I
more
sleep
so,
fine.
you don't sleep, but you realize you don't need it. And you understand why, Benson. This is the plane of shadow. You have no physical body. Sleep is not a thing that you anymore.
But
You
we
you
can
need
walk
any longer.
here.
You can. You are correct.
And the train is a physical object.
Correct. But you
We are not physical objects.
are physical objects. You're just
Are
also
physical.
dead. And yeah, it doesn't bother either you two. But for Grok and Rooklyn, it absolutely does bother you. Very much so.
So it doesn't bother us in the sense of us being exhausted, because that's not a thing here, but it just makes us upset.
Correct. And I'll
Okay.
explain what that madness does to you.
Upset. Heaved.
All right. So it's a short-term madness. It's not going to last for very long. Probably for the duration of the beginning of your rest, really. But for you, Grok, you're very much frightened. and you are very scared of just everyone.
I was gonna say, if he's close enough to get my bonus, he'd be close enough to get the.
Yep. So you basically feel this fear like subsiding from you, but you also feel it's necessary to kind of stay away from others. Now, Rooklyn, because yours is different. No, actually, fair enough. You basically just start battling, and you, for this short duration, cannot do anything that would require speech. So spell casting, trying to tell somebody is okay. But I would assume Grok's kind of moving away from everyone, and you're trying to stay close, but you're also kind of muttering to yourself like words that you feel matter, but you also know in your head like there's something kind of coming over you here. That said, Christinger doesn't notice. Raya's focused. Benson, you would notice what's going on and would start to realize that existing in this plane of shadow is, for a long time anyway, will become more problematic as it persists. The dread plane itself, the plane of shadow, is now weighing upon your allies. It looks like they haven't met the full brunt of it, but you can see that that's happening. And out of character note, that's not actually a Cthulhu. Oh, sorry, you said Cthulhu type. Okay, yeah, it's in the DMG. It's fun times. Moving on, though, for the trance, about 4 hours pass. Throughout the entirety of the trance, Raya, you'll note that you are not connecting to the Feywild, but you don't feel there's any hindrance because you also feel you don't need that tethering. Instead, what you end up tethering to is an echo of the Feywild that exists in the shadow plane, also known as the Feydark. And you feel that you are tethering to it in the same way that you would tether to the Feywild, which, again, for you, not being a full-blooded elf, or an elf that's even lived that long, you would know, well, I mean, you are full-blooded, but you know what I mean. You're not like a born elf.
Natural born.
Right. You would note that this connection is different, and in actuality is more preferable for you, because it feels like you're not being kind of like brought on by spirits, or you're not being kind of like gifted with the sustenance to kind of like persist after trancing by something else. It feels like it's kind of coming from yourself. Very strange, to be sure. But yeah.
Are you saying Raya's too dark for his own shadow realm?
No, I'm saying that the Shadow Dark basically
He's that edgy.
focuses on a kind of evil kind of sensibility, so it's very gratuitous for the self-centered. Get that cup out of here.
Very funny. I noticed it as I put it down.
Rock withdraws into his shell.
In the corner, there is a shell. Okay, but
I kick it on the
eventually,
train.
you all do kind of finish your rest. As I mentioned, no one really needs to sleep. So you
Yeah, that's
accomplish the benefits of gaining a long rest after maybe 8 or 9 hours, probably 9 hours with the madness is. And at the end of that long rest, I'd like everybody to go ahead and make another wisdom saving throw.
19.
28.
Okay.
I met a dark flame and then I rolled poorly.
So, Jeremy, after your trance, you kind of are back in the state of kind of, manifestly physical state. But there's this kind of connection that you're having that seems to be kind of lingering back in that trance state. You actually start, as you kind of get up and start moving about, kind of like just kind of becoming a bit more active from your rest, you start seeing things. At first you think, oh, these are just the weird spirits that were sitting at the this place or that. But then you start realizing that what you're seeing instead happen to be strange specters of people you knew, people you might have cared about, the farmer, people in the Mardigan family, people who were close to you, not that you truly cared about, but people you recognize and might care about if they were to meet some poor fate. And you would see them in these kind of places where you would expect to see, a ghost. And after kind of like, closing your eyes and shifting, you realize that that was just a strange hallucination, nothing to actually be there. And you can actually feel your own mind kind of assailing you. For the next 8 hours, you have disadvantage on any ability checks, that's skill checks specifically, that you'll be making, due to the fact that these hallucinations seem to pop up right when you're kind of like actively trying to engage on something. It's a distracting kind of element.
Like bomb crafting?
Like bomb crafting.
Gonna put a damper on things.
Everyone else is fine.
Neat.
Can I
I
do?
guess. Go ahead.
Can I try to do any sending spell to anyone, or does it? Again, I'm just. It's hard for me to put into this what is lockdown and what isn't. I know we can't teleport anywhere.
Basically,
I know we can't jump anywhere.
If this teleport is not absolutely barred from you. It's just different. If you're trying to teleport somewhere that's on this plane, go for it. But
I was thinking plane shift.
Plane shift is a no-go.
Crap. I was wondering that.
Yeah. Sending is a no-go. Actually,
Because that's what I mean. All my stuff I'm trying to do, I'm like, I keep hitting walls here, so I don't really know what to do.
you can cast. Okay, out of character, you can cast these spells just like we described in the thing. When you tried to banish the person, it didn't do anything. It seemed to kind of like phase them and place them right back where they were. So the spells still operate. They just mechanically function different. So if you'd like to try casting the spells, you just know that the plane of shadow has its own boundaries.
But I mean, even if we do plane shift and we can get back to the freaking
So the way plane shift
train cart.
Real quick, the way plane shift typically works is it uses the planar keys and the planar access points to move you through special tuning, because one of the required items is a tuning fork, out of the plane of existence you're in to another plane of existence. Okay? So it requires those specific keys, tunes, and tones. The plane of shadow does not have them. So it's like, I want to go into a house, but the house has no doors.
Okay, then what about even like saying I want to teleport? I have to have a circle, right, to be able to teleport?
Teleportation circle is within the plane itself, so you cannot teleport to a different plane. The spell teleport could teleport you somewhere within this plane, but you have to have an idea of where you're going. The only other two places that you know that exist are
the train station
and the train.
We had a moving target.
Could I ask a question about sending?
You can't
Hey,
hit
Star
a
Trek.
moving target. Go ahead.
So I think the wording is with someone with
Yep.
which you are familiar. Now, what does that mean?
So
Because I know we know the name
You need to-
Gulthias, for example. Is that someone with which we're familiar?
no. So you would need to, I would say, have met them or have interacted with them in some way for sending to work.
Okay.
What about Benson's orb, the scrying orb? Does it still work?
It does, but does he have it with him? Or did he
I
leave it
assume
back
he
at the
never got
school?
rid of it.
I didn't leave anything at the school.
Okay.
I have everything on me in my bag of holding.
Okay.
I mean, we can go back to the station, can't we? Where
That's
we
what I
started?
was thinking.
We'll
Then we
go
can
back
just
there. So
walk
you met the
out.
station master. Well, we're stuck on this realm. Maybe there's another train that'll take us to where. You know.
The
At least
problem
it's better
is
than
that
this.
the station master was forcing us to go this way. So are they just going to force us onto another train?
Well, that would be better than this, where
Square
we're just
one.
stuck here forever.
We have a
you
working
know?
train. Worst shot.
Yeah, or do we just want to teleport onto the train we let keep going?
Well,
And
we
we're
can't
all
get
good
that
halfway
one.
there.
It's probably still moving, and we don't know where it is.
You can hit a moving target.
Yeah, he
That's
said
not a
we
problem.
could.
You can.
You have to know exactly
Yeah,
I'm
where it
sorry.
is, though.
I heard can't.
You don't
No.
have to know exactly where it is. For a location, you have to be able to cast to get there.
Okay.
On locations
Okay.
that move, you just have to know the location. You have to be familiar with the
Vision the
location.
inside of the car, and
And
you're
then-
in the inside
Right.
of the car.
Correct.
Okay.
So
Well,
we
that's
could
the
do
perfect
that.
answer. I'm
go-
sorry, I misunderstood.
No worries. You can go either direction. You can go back onto the car that's moving towards the dread plane of Hero Rockscale, or you can go back to the beginning where the train would possibly just reload you and send you on your way back to Hero Rockscale. Or you could go nuts and you could shove a portable hole into a bag of holding, see what happens.
We don't have a portable hole.
Or you could shove two bag of holdings into one another and see what happens.
So if we had a portable hole, wouldn't that be different? That would actually open up another?
Extra dimensional spaces in extra dimensional
Okay.
spaces do the same thing. Lots and lots of explosion, lots and lots of gate to the astral sea.
So this is a plane, correct?
Correct.
Kinda.
The train, Jeremy.
The plane of shadow, also known as Aerith. This plane is the plane where dead things go. It's where negative energy persists out of. It's also where basically the court of or the Senate of Ravens exists. Death, the elements of
And
death.
it does, but does not count as a material plane.
It does not count as the material plane, ever.
Okay.
It has material things in it.
I missed the definition. Why was plane shift not working?
Because the plane of shadow's entry is possible, but its exit is barred.
Because it's a dread plane, and basically that's the thing, is that dread person has complete control over it, and he stopped all of these teleportation things and stuff.
So okay, let's imagine it this way, okay? So imagine that there are a number of different small bubbles kind of settled on kind of like a pool of water, okay? You are in between bubbles, but you're still in water. Water is the plane of shadow. You're not in anybody's dread plane right now. You were on your way to a dread plane.
My teleportation spell should
You
work.
are on the plane of shadow, which is ruled over by the entirety of the Senate. So you cannot exit the plane of shadow as a whole, and you more so cannot exit a dread plane unless you are welcome, or enter a dread plane unless you are welcome. So the bubbles are barred. The plane of shadow, all dead people go to, and dead people sometimes find their way into the bubbles. So
But the only people that would even be able to make an attempt to leave a dread plane are people that shouldn't have been in it to begin with, correct?
Right, or bitter hearts. And bitter hearts are just people who can walk through death because of their birth.
Anybody here better heart?
Right? Anybody got a blood test kit?
I mean, Rye seems like he's got a bitter heart.
Oh, be nice to Rye. He's had a hard day.
I'd say the best way to do
He
it
had
would
to
be
cut
to
a train
teleport
in
to the
half.
train. Teleport to the train that we know of, and then ride to the dread plane. And then, as much as I hate to do it, if we get questioned, we'll just blame it on the guy that left.
Say that again, Brooklyn. What are we doing?
We should teleport to the train that we know of that's moving towards the dread
Yeah,
plane.
I agree.
Because they did take our tickets, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we teleport back, even if we are there again, we don't have tickets.
Well, what you would know, too, and I want to make sure that you are aware of this. This is something that again, Jeremy's idea is not as stupid as it sounds. That breaks realities. That's not a spellcaster changing the nature of like the keys and the gateways. It literally punches a hole through whatever reality you're in to the astral sea, to the void beyond. So that said, I just want to make sure, I don't want you to think that idea is dumb. It's probably the only surefire way of punching a hole through this existence that you know of.
Yeah, but
We don't know if that's going to kill us in the process, do we?
It could do.
My big thing is I don't want to lose my bag of holding, and I know mine's the one up for being
Destruction.
sacrificed.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
All 3 bags of holding that we have, I believe is only 3, are very full of very good things.
I understand, but I just want to make sure, like, I know it was put out as a joke, ha 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 ha, dumb idea, but the
I
more
don't think he
Benson
was joking.
probably, fair enough, Jeremy rarely does,
Could you
I would do it.
the more Benson thinks about it, the more he understands that it is different than spellcasting.
Could you explain like what would happen if you opened up this hole in reality? Would it be open only for a short period of time,
Don't know.
or would it? You don't know. So, like for example, could we get into the hut, and then it opens, so we're protected in the hut?
I left the floor open when I posted it for Benson to do his Arcana check and pull all the information for us.
Sure.
It never happened.
Do you want to roll an Arcana check to think
I
about
didn't see that, so yeah, I can do that.
whole punchy idea?
Please get a good roll.
27.
Okay. So, like I said, it will literally rip a hole out of this reality and put it to the astral sea. If you are correct in this assumption, you would know that that would be very unwelcome by the Senate of Ravens. They would not be a fan of that. So you'd have godlike powers, or beings that are basically right underneath the actual triumvirate, the warring triumvirate gods, seeing that and being very engaged with that process. So once that hole is punched, There's no, well, okay, maybe we should. It's literally get in the hole or deal with the repercussions. Second, it will be tumultuous. It will not be a. It'll be more of a everything goes in kind of situation. Like, so you may not even have a choice, getting sucked into the hole or not. And it may rip people to shreds, if they're not properly prepared for it. That said, you would know the Liamin's tiny hut would not bar, because the second that the ground or whatever around it starts to move away from the hut, so too would the hut and everything inside of it. It'd be like lifting up a dish of, like off the top of a dining or a dinner plate and just pulling everything out from underneath. Spell-wise, Odaluk's, the sphere of not the hamster ball, that's probably a good protection for someone who may or may not be able to kind of deal with the harsh rending of realities. So, Benson, you'd be more than familiar with the fact that you could probably protect yourself in this instance. You think Shambles and Brooklyn and probably Grok could definitely get through it. And if Raya can use his grace in some way that's beneficial in this regard, he might be able to finish the passage as well. But the thing is the Astral Sea is a very big place on the last point of this, and you could end up in one of the 13 gates of Ashtar, which are the hells of your reality, where the Shedim or the 13 sins exist. You could end up in the place where the Hierarchia, the 7 virtues of goodliness, exist. You could end up somewhere in the middle, which is basically the warfield between those two forces that has waged on since time before time was time.
But after we do that, though,
you can plane
punching
shift.
The hole through that, then I can plane shift. So
yeah,
you at least
so long
have
as you're
the
not
opening.
Thrown into a realm where the rules are twisted as well. Because like I said, the 13 gates which exist on the Astral Sea, those are owned by demon princes. So if you end up in one of those, it could be the case that you
fight a demon prince.
Are under their rules now, and their gate is bound by them as well.
Do we know if we'd all wind up in the same place, or would be
you would all end up in the
separated?
same place? The hole
Okay.
is one. It's a one-way connection. It doesn't fluctuate.
Cool. That's helpful.
And that is what you would basically glean from that.
So that idea is looking more like the best way to go.
2 of our bags. There were empty crates in the last storage truck. We take that, we put it at the very back door of the very last train. From that crate, you suspend 4 pieces of cordage that we take from the furniture out to the center with a ring. One bag is suspended from that ring. But mummy. The other one is hovered up. We hang above that. Tie it tight into like a dart type shape.
That's
Hang
one
it
of the
from a
ghosts
rope.
you see.
Yeah. now, kid.
Go to mommy. Right, you all right?
We have up to 700 feet of rope. We take that entirety of rope, tie it together, drag it through the train. We pull the cord on this end, the bag drops in. The rope binds to the portal. We all hold on to that rope, slam your eyes shut, and just let it go.
Quick note, too. I want to point this out just for canonicity's sake, because I did come up with it a while ago due to a Jeremy typo, and I just want to make sure it's canon by putting it on video here. Your 27 Arcana check, Chody, would let you know that the process of putting an extra dimensional space inside of an extra dimensional space and using it as a detonation device to kill people was used a lot during the Grey War by a mage of the Meridian side known as Blackmore. This is a Blackmore bomb that you are creating here.
Yep.
Never heard of him.
I love the name, honestly.
It does
sound like a
make his
typo.
name
You typed-
Blackboard.
You type black hole and it auto-corrected to Blackmore somehow. I'm
Blackmore.
like, well, that's canon now. That's canon.
Neat. All right, I'm gonna start taking some valuables out of my bag because I know we're gonna use my bag, and take some rope and start tying them together, and make a bundle.
Whose other bag are we using? Benson's?
Probably Ryan.
Yeah.
It's best we don't open mine.
Oh, you're pissed off your sword? Is it in timeout?
No, I mean, you guys know Raya. There might be things in there that nobody wants to see.
I'm just saying that if
You're
I
gonna
do,
need to fill that thing with residuum.
that's what I mean. I'm losing all my residuum.
Oh, sorry. 27 Arcana check. One more thing. The hole itself may, percentage chance, function like you are putting your bags of holding that are going through it through that same space, which could lead to their destruction as well. So just a note there. There is a chance that this could get worse as well.
You're gonna be so
How
poor.
much?
Or we could go to the other train.
Yeah, it's not like a massive chance. If you enter in either at the middle, if you enter at the middle point, if you don't enter at the beginning of its detonation or at the end of its detonation, there's no chance. So if you time it right, you're good. And timing it right would be an Arcana check.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on in Benson's head. Fight Death God, lose money. What do we do?
Not money, just like 500 pounds of residium, man.
No, should be way less than that.
Well, I've been using it, yes, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's still
Yeah, you probably have
currently
like
at
400
43,000 gold worth it.
We could get a lot more from that from the Gold Dragon's Nest, though.
How many
Do you have
has-
space for residuum in your bag,
Who?
Raya?
I could probably fit at least half of what he has, and then
That's just how I cast my spells, though.
Yeah, we do know how to go get more.
Yeah. As far as we know, that room's still there.
How much could I stuff
Maybe.
inside my shell?
Nothing.
Just sticking in there.
That's not how the shell works.
It'll be cool.
Just start swallowing
also-
silver coins.
If only we had a genie-packed warlock, put it in the ring.
I've got 120 pounds of silver coins.
You can also just start grabbing empty bags or crafting them out of the chairs, put residuum in them, and carry what we can. We do have carrying capacities.
Yeah, we've got the freight boxes too. I'm gonna dump
Are
some
the,
bone dust out and
If
just
we
fill it with.
if we plan this correctly and we time it right, we're going to go through, and he's going to have plane shift ready to just push us back to where we want to be anyway.
Yeah, let's not checklist everything. I vote black hole.
I vote Black Hole.
I will do my absolute best to replace anything that gets lost in
Okay.
this awesome voyage.
Just because I want to get the connection point out of the way right off the bat, if Black Hole is... It sounds like that's the prevailing vote, right?
Well, so far there are 3 of them. Benson and Grok haven't voted.
3 is the majority.
I know. Grok is gonna say, okay, yeah, sure.
I hate this train.
Okay, first things first. I need you to pick a representative to roll a D3.
Ah,
No,
he
there was
voted
such
no.
a thing.
Yeah, it's a D6 halved. Or you can just type 1D3, it'll roll it.
Just roll a d6.
Whoever wants
I
to
can do
roll
it if you want.
I'm saying Andy.
Here we go. A 1.
Okay. I need you to roll a D7.
I can do it.
all right. I like that number. 7's better than 13, boys.
6.
I'm making preparations.
Okay.
I'm taking some crates, getting them nearby the entrance, and putting some valuables in it before passing off my.
7 is better
Bag
than
of holding.
13.
I would,
Yeah.
I would
I
also,
got it. I know what you're talking about.
I would also like to figure out where we would like to plane shift for me to be ready for this.
No, you don't.
Your tower.
Oh, when you get to it. Okay, gotcha.
My tower. Okay.
Your tower's fine. Yeah.
He said he wanted it to be ready as soon as we do it, so I don't want to be like, "Hey, here we go, guys!" And it's like, "Nope, you don't have time now."
Just so you know, plane shift does have a casting time, so...
Yep.
Plane shift's casting time, I believe, is... Oh, it's 1 action.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Very cool.
Cool.
Just targets. Can we get our stuff?
I would assume that you have exactly
8 willing
one...
creatures.
You have exactly 1 forked metal rod worth 250 gold pieces, because there were none.
We have.
And it's attuned to the material plane. So you have the means of getting back home, but just nowhere else.
Got a
Nice.
teapot.
Oh. Interesting.
What's
Benson, make another Arcana check. I'm going to give you a freebie on this one. You did come here for a purpose.
17.
Yeah. You are unable... You have a second tuning fork. This one has not been attuned to a particular plane of existence. It's unattuned. And in the process of, study and everything, you try to attune it here, but fail to do so. Because remember, your goal was to try and create a connection with now Nephondus and learn more about him. That mission is currently being
Yeah,
given
no,
up.
we're scrubbing that.
Yeah, it's literally just get out of here alive situation. I
Yep.
understand. But your process to try and make a connection.
Railroaded us into this anyway.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
we chose to be here.
you
Choo-choo!
could have learned more. There were two things that could have happened. But anyways, whatever.
Yeah,
we're
but
moving to this.
You're the one that told him he was able to cut the tree.
I couldn't say no. I already broke a window. I already made the point that it was a physical train. Okay, it's like I would have felt like a jerk of a DM if I'd said no to such a smart idea.
As far as preparations go, this thing's happening. We're all getting ready. Brooklyn, is there anything you want to do before John says things happen?
I mean, there's really nothing I can do.
Clench.
But prepare, ready to take the damage. Hopefully,
you can
I'm
pray
sorry
over
about
me
that.
and prepare to guide me and
What's
help
happening?
me clear my own head so that I can more skillfully make connections that need to be made.
Last second preparations, Grog. Right,
I would
that's
say
a
that
good idea.
This is not last second. This is several hours.
Benson could provide you help in that regard, so you
Yeah.
can make the check with normal, not disadvantage or advantage. Raya,
Yeah, I'd rather have advantage on this at all.
What kind of
you
check?
can't get advantage because you have always disadvantage. So,
I got shaky hands right now.
yep.
I'm gonna turn the
And-
music back on.
Him talking to his son in real life was a thing of him actually talking to a hallucination.
Hell yeah.
That shit is
also canon.
canon.
Yeah, we can take 8 hours, 9 hours of prep time, and I can attempt that roll again to break the.
Do you want to
being
stay here
fucked
for
up in the
longer?
head.
Not really.
Yeah, screw
I
this
feel like the
one.
check's gonna get harder.
Y'all want an unstable black hole bomb?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Damn it.
already
Alright.
unstable.
Is there a stable black hole bomb?
Insane.
Is there such a
This is
thing?
new tech.
I think that's
Kinda.
something we can control.
This is a new.
I'm
frontier.
assuming that this isn't going to take more than like 20 minutes to set up. If you are
Yeah.
planning on waiting longer,
Probably
I
about
need
an
to
hour.
know.
No,
Okay.
probably about an hour.
An hour's fine. I can.
They got
grant-
bags and stuff they want to pack.
Okay.
Benson, you need to start doing the timing calculations. I can help you with that if you'd like,
Yeah.
so we know when we want to enter this.
You can make an
course.
Arcana check. You will have aid. You will have help, but in the same regard. This is not coming from Raya. This is coming from the fact that this is not a thing that you've done before, and you're literally planning an equation based on a natural phenomenon happening. You were going to have disadvantage if you didn't have help. So this Arcana check is raw, straight roll.
21.
Okay, you think you have a good idea of it, and literally, like, if you stay one car back and detonate the bomb in the very back of the caboose, you'll be able to move very quickly, or you'll be able to be forced very quickly by the suction of a hole into its space and be allotted, like, in that time slot where it shouldn't break the bags.
What do we
So
want to
we
tell the
have-
ghosts?
Get fucked. We attach the rope and we go through this thing like a spaghetti noodle.
I'm gonna
Slip
tell
it.
ropes to get behind me.
They
I
don't listen.
know.
They
I don't know
don't
if it'll
listen.
affect them.
And if the music's not on, they're not really...
I said I'd turn the music on.
Okay, well then, yeah, you can see them, but
They
they're not
belong
really...
here.
They're not really listening. They just kind of look at you confused. They look like they're seated. The only ones that aren't seated are the ones that are kind of standing up or kind of like, positioned elsewhere because you broke their bench.
They look happy though.
They are happy because of the music, yeah.
All right. Well,
Let
I'll
him know
make
he
sure
might be going
that's.
somewhere he's not
I'll
supposed
make sure
to
that's
be.
wound up real nice.
All
I
right.
was gonna try to rescue ropes and the pig, but
I
Screw
gotta-
that pig.
I was
they're
gonna
probably
tuck
going
him under
through
my arm like a football.
If they're bound to the train's going through the black hole.
Well, Godspeed, fellas. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Is there anything
They're
I
in
need
a
to do?
real big surprise when they meet God.
Will I be able to withdraw into my shell as I jump through?
No,
Okay.
What?
because you don't have
slam your
movement.
eyes shut and hold on to the rope.
You don't technically have
Try
movement
not
when
to
you're
look
in
at
your shell.
anything inside the wormhole.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so you've got the plan activated. I need a Arcana roll from Raya, and this one again you are getting assistance, so it's not at disadvantage. Okay.
Nice.
You have it all set up. You have it all planned. You detonate it. You watch as the dart-shaped, like the kind of funneled bag, falls into the second bag. The second it does, the back end of the car just becomes like a solid black orb, and then you see kind of like a sheen of purple kind of appear on the outside of it as the train car around it just starts disassembling and being forced into that black hole. That purple sheen changes to kind of more like a star-shaped pattern, or like a star, like a starry sky pattern, And you can actually see that it's no longer an orb. It actually appears to be a hole. And so at that point, you start moving towards it. It starts pulling you towards it at the same time.
Close your eyes.
And everyone who is going through, just roll a d100.
I'm on
Going
it,
through
gang.
Each of us?
Each one of you, yeah.
10.
31.
Ooh, I got a 2.
9.
Got
73.
some low ones.
Christinger, Grok, Rooklyn, each one of you go ahead and regain a number of hit points equal to your maximum hit point total.
We just long rested.
And you regain all of your hit dice.
Ooh, that's nice.
And you gain
Somebody was
20
a little fucked up.
temporary hit points.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Nice.
Benson,
Good job,
for the next 24 hours, you have a +1 to your attack rolls and a +1 to your damage rolls.
guys. Ooh, boy.
And you add +1d4 radiant damage to any melee weapon attacks that you strike with.
Get in there and fist up.
And then, Ryan, you got a 31.
Yeah.
All right. You,
Explodes. Just dead.
at the beginning of your turn,
Sucked up through your butt.
at the beginning of each of your turns for the next 8 hours, gain 1d8 temporary hit points. So go ahead and roll a
Cool.
d8 now. I would assume in the next 30 seconds you'll eventually get an 8. Actually, don't mind. You have 8 temporary hit points at current. But yeah,
Okay.
as you're rented from that reality and pulled through it, you first feel like there's going to be a lot in the damaging department, but surprisingly not. You move through the breach between the two with relative ease. And we're going to Theater of the Mind this because this was one of the maps that you should be able to teleport away from pretty quickly. You appear out in a vast open plains. The sky above is the astral sea, as I described it, purple with kind of bright gold and silver motes of light off and ahead of you. The plains kind of wisp with this golden grain, and you can see, well off in the distance, white-winged creatures flying about in what appears to be some sort of flock or school or chorus of winged beings. Too far away to determine what they are.
Can I attune the fork here?
You don't need to attune the fork here, because the fork you have, you've already failed to attune.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I was
Right.
just curious.
Actually, make a religion check.
Should we be able to see?
No. Theater of the
He
Mind.
said it was theater to mind this one.
Gotcha,
Well-
gotcha.
The plan was to pop in, pop out.
Fair.
What'd you get on your religion?
12.
You don't even know where here is, so you
Cool.
don't.
Plane ship.
Okay. You plane shift.
We all hold hands in a circle.
Yep.
Let's see. Up to 8 willing creatures. You would note that as you're kind of shifting away from this space, it does look like a couple of the ghosts kind of land near you seconds or so after, just as you're casting the spell, and you would see that their forms change from ghost to physical very suddenly. Like they're basically just granted bodies just by existing in this plane.
Hey, you made it.
And like the last sight that you probably catch is the winged shapes seem to be moving in your direction before you gone.
Coming to help him.
Yep, totally. Gotta help them. Right here.
You appear back in the tower. Now that you said the Tower of the Hand, you meant specifically the Tower of the Hand in Mudis, right?
I would assume.
Okay.
I was laying Blue Gate, but
That's what I was thinking. The school.
Blue Gate?
because he gave up the Buddhist one.
Yeah, that's gone.
Well, I mean, it's still there.
But it's
But
full of money.
Right.
It
He moved. No, we moved all that.
Everything's been
Oh,
sent
you're
to the
right.
school.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Looks like I killed the token on here. Where is it at? Interesting. I will make a new one.
Talk about our token?
Yeah, do you see it?
Yeah, I just moved it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, I don't want it to be Grok. Well, let's see if Fate
Oh.
wants it to be. It's Benson.
Benson.
Okay.
All right, boys. Let's all go throw up.
The fork kind of vibrates with the power of being returned back to this place.
So
And,
is our bags are gone, right?
the 2 bags
Yep.
that you destroyed, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
I will
Okay,
get
have
you,
a have a shop.
Do we want to go back and try to find that golden dragons thing, or leave it for later?
I really gotta go talk to those orcs.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
gotta get back to Darkflame.
Well, now that you're back on the
Go
material
inside.
plane, you can cast teleportation circle to get there as you memorize the circle.
How many uses of teleportation circle do you have, Benson, for a day?
Teleportation circle. My list got really long. Hold on.
Yeah, dude.
What level is it?
5th, right?
2.
Fifth, fourth,
Fifth
or
level.
2.
2? Okay. Because if you want to get the bags before we do anything else so we can carry our stuff more accurately again, we know Bellum and Bonrock are both places we can easily pick those up.
You can go grab a couple then.
Do we want to check
Grab some
Bluegate?
gold.
See if they could
We
possibly
could
have.
walk out and see if Bluegate has a couple.
They don't sell magic items here, you know that.
That's what I thought. Well,
I
they
forgot.
had a couple, but nothing. It wasn't as well.
It was back when there was
More,
it
more
was,
random.
It was back when there was a Hall of Arcana. There isn't
Would any
anymore.
of my professors be able to make it?
No.
Okay.
No. Our fastest means of getting it is Bonrock or Bellum.
If you put
Okay.
if you put in an order for one, you could probably have, Bonrock would be the best place to go.
Okay. We can
Yeah,
go to
'cause
Bonrock.
that's probably the safer one for us too, since we don't really want to show up in Bellum right now because of other things Raya did.
Banish was
Jeez.
also a place that had a decent market place as well, so
Right.
Banish was also an option.
Said Bonrock first though, so
Okay.
we can go Bonrock.
All right. You plane shift to the
Teleport.
teleportation circle. Did I say plane shift?
Yeah.
Gooby.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I don't have that anymore now.
Right. I was also, just silly. So you arrive back in the city of the dwarves. I believe that's got a lot of outdated tokens. But if you remember, your appearance would be in the Dwarison Cathedral, where you memorize the teleportation circle. The dwarfs there. Or actually, no, it was in the smithing circle. Sorry. Thank you, notes. The smithing guild kind of looks to you as you appear. Welcome, travelers.
Good day.
Hey.
Nice to see you all again.
I suppose the same of you. What can we help you with, Master of the Hand?
We are looking for a couple bags of holding. We were going to try to stop by since your market is so well renowned.
We have artifice that has made a number of these bags that you speak of. We are willing to part with them for 500 gold pieces each.
How many do you have available?
We only have 3. But we also
I'll take
have
them all.
this. And he kind of pulls out.
A backpack of holding.
He kind of pulls out a bell and rings it. You then see a guy come into the room and he says, "Please, they..." And then in Dwarvish says a word, which
I
for
speak
those of you who speak
Dwarvish.
Dwarvish would know. He says,
Us.
"The extra dimensional spaces, please." The guy leaves. It'll be just a moment. A couple of items that might more specifically interest you.
We have something for you as well.
Well, we have heard rumor that you, points to Benson, Halfling, Master of the Hand, have started a school outside of the gates of the Silvery Way. Is this accurate?
We're working on it. It has not started yet, but we're working on it to try to bring the gift of magic back to the world a little more fruitfully.
We had an alliance with the Osirian government that stated no Mages Guild would be started near our borders, so long as a member of our guild was not present within it.
It is not a guild by any means, it's a school.
We understand, but what I'm saying is that our alliance with Osiria states that If a member of our Artificers Guild is not within your school, then you cannot have one.
Pick
We
up
would-
an artificer.
Yeah, we would happily welcome someone into the ranks. We actually need an artificer. It would be
How long
very
are
welcome.
you? How soon are you planning to open this school? Because us determining who would be given this duty may take some time, a number of months for the dwarves.
I believe you have it. We've started recruiting some students and taking some applications. We have a few teachers already, but again, we are still looking for more.
Law dictates that you have to disband the school or cease practice until we have brought us.
If I may interject, as the former standing magistrate of Bluegate, he's formed no guild, but we're in no way. He's not started anything yet. He's still in preliminary trials. He's just only accepted applications and done a couple interviews, if you will.
The matter still stands that it does seem.
Nothing has been begun.
It
There's
does-
no one on payroll.
it-
Nobody assigned any documentation, sir.
It does seem that we came about this information through second-handed means, and unfortunately, it does require us to take bureaucratic action. We've already sent an envoy to the capital to discuss this matter with the mages there. But as a member of the Council of the Smithing Circle, I would be interested in forming a more close connection with your school now that you are here. We have you in a bit of a captive state, Headmaster. You have arrived here of your own volition, not knowing of your transgression. I
No.
assume that no one told you of this alliance.
No, not at all. That's why it was a bit of a shock. But
Then our envoy has been informed correctly that the failings of the state to inform all parties in the country of this alliance will not go incorrect. Very good. So, if you wish for us to deal with the matter in a more quickened fashion, I suppose patronage can be made to the smithing circle to force our hands into choosing someone more readily. You see, you are not granted to giving us anything, tithes or dues or anything, so we do not know your wealth. So selling you as someone should teach under is a near impossibility. You are paupers who came to this place before and traded relics you didn't understand for baubles. So we are of a mind
We traded relics, hello?
assume
That was me. I understood it well. I had no use of it.
Very good. But the point still stands. If you are willing to give us some sort of sign of your wealth and power, an artificer might be volunteering and willing to take the chore of being a teacher of yours more readily. You see, artificers deal with wealth and require it. Residuum is a very important matter that you may not have, that you would have to get from the guild. And so it may cost us more in this alliance, this engagement. And that being said, not many would want to be seen as a leech upon the circle. Do you
You wouldn't
understand?
consider a $7 million blade, given it less than 1% of its value, a strong forward standing? I
So-
believed well enough in the three of you that it could be passed on in trust and it would find a good home.
What are you speaking of?
The blade I gave you last time I was here.
The transaction for that has already been made. And you agreed
Well
upon
within
it.
your favor.
And you agreed upon it.
Of course, because of who you are.
We agree that you are more than charitable. Kind of coughs, and you hear him say a word in Dwarvish. Those of you who speak it, he says, "foolish," with your contributions. He says.
so
the
that
foolish word.
sign of
Foolish
good
was
faith.
nothing of it.
He shakes his head and looks back to Benson.
That could have been a sign of good faith that is laughed in the face, and I will respond with the what he said with fools, treating them as
The issue.
whatever he said.
the issue with the relic that was granted us is more a matter of it versus us. Yes, we enjoy to have potent relics, but we have since had to give the weapon away. As was discussed, it is an elvish blade of importance. It was given to an elf or chosen by it. An elf was chosen by it to wield it. That elf did not wish to wield it. We compensated that elf with currency and treasures, and we returned the sword in good faith to those associated with the Tal Namri, the elves therein.
You're giving good faith to someone else, but then again, you wouldn't get good faith the price that you negotiated with this one.
Let me explain again. I want
dwarf.
I want an artificer to join your guild because of the alliances that we have with Osiria. We do not wish magical practices to be allowed to get out of order, as was the case in the Civil War. We do not want another conglomerate forming right outside of our mountain gates. So we do this. We form these alliances to ensure a dwarf is present, to witness what is happening inside of your school, or whatever you wish to call it. And that is our goal. But not many are going to be volunteering for the task because an artificer requires the gifts of the mountain to be able to craft. What I am asking for you is to make forward a donation or a show of wealth so that I can reflect that upon the artificers that might be interested. If you have no such wealth, then I will require months for that issue to be resolved, and I would ask that you do not practice your gatherings of wizards outside of the Alliance's bounds. But if you show some sort of power here, some reason why an artificer might want to join you, it might be easier for them to be persuaded. Do you understand? I'm not asking to bribe you here. In fact, I do not wish you to give me anything. The artificer in question, who would be nominated as your teacher, would be granted this boon. If you had a powerful relic that he could inspect, and I didn't have to give to elves. If you had a amount of residuum that would change anyone's eyes towards outside of the mountain where this is a gift. If you had some sort of recipe or series of books that had to deal with artificed items, an interesting tome of lore, these would be beneficial in helping sway a potential teacher.
So I would, again, the residuum is kind of spread out throughout us now. I'm not holding it.
You have
I'll cover it. I will cover it. I have what he wants.
Okay.
Just, this will be enough to more than compensate for any bags we may need in addition. And I'll hand him one residuum shard.
He takes it. Amazing. This, shard was mined here.
What's it?
This is the shard you picked up in Bellum, correct?
One of the 5, yeah.
This was mined here. So you have access to our tradeways outside. Very good. This will suffice. 2 bags of holding. More than sufficient. No small matter, though.
10,000 worth of residuum covers 1,000 in bags.
9,000 covers what I will grant to your artificer. And he joins
9,628.
doing the math. 10,000.
I did it.
Minus 9,900. No, 9,000. 10,000 minus 1,000.
I know. I currently have 4 in my bag, and its total value is 38,512.
Okay.
From whatever the original number you gave me was. Yeah, it rounds out weird. It doesn't come to an even number.
Was this your Mardigan's payment?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what that is.
He kind of
Classic.
nods and says, "More than sufficient. The artificer in question will be swayed by this. They will be taking this shard with them when they return out to your school. or when they first go to your school. Again, as I stated, we have no need of this. We create this here. But they will have need of it. Not all of our members get access to such power. Hopefully someone who is skillful will join you in your cause. The man with the bags comes in and drops a couple more bags of holding. These items, unfortunately, I cannot give away as stipends, but if you wish to buy them, you may. I suppose our conversation is slightly tilted due to the matters that preceded it, but he gestures to a very large red velvet bag. This...
And it is.
Yeah, I'll buy one. Is the politics done? I feel uncomfortable, fellas.
Look who's talking,
Never
mister.
mind.
I did all the politics.
I have some stuff to...
Yeah, why aren't you in
Get
here swinging your
repaired.
meat around,
What?
Mr. Vester?
I don't know anything about magic schools and contracts between nations.
You should. It all came
Um,
out of your city.
Fuck. Ugh.
What else has he got? What's the
He
red
says, the red bag is an item that was given to us by the elves. It is something that we've not been able to find a use for, but from all of our detections and understandings of it, it can hold 2,000 pounds of whatever you wish to put in it.
It is a backpack of holding.
It is the Crimson Knight's bag. It weighs 50 pounds. It is bright red velvet, with golden kind of slip ties that close it off.
Santa's bag.
It's effectively Santa's bag.
How much is it?
I will part with this for 1,000.
Done.
And then you'd see that there are 2 more bags of holding outside of the 2 that he granted you for the patronage for your upcoming teacher. He says, before you kind of part, if you're buying the other bags of holding, they're 500 apiece, but he says before you part, he says, I would assume that whatever teacher would be joining your school, you would like final say on who it is, even if they are the best that we have to offer.
And we'll obviously want to meet with one of his instructors.
Absolutely. This would absolutely be correct and the most proper method. Whoever comes forward first, I will make sure that they are teleported safely to your school. From what I am told, it is in the city of Bluegate. Is this incorrect?
That's correct.
The Hall of Arcana had a teleportation circle. He reaches into his bag, pulls out a piece of parchment. You see him kind of like place his mind against the parchment, and then shows you a teleportation circle. Is this the circle? It is the circle.
Yes.
Then we will be able to teleport there without error. I will send the student, or send our circle member there once they've elected to try and win your favor. They will be sent with your patronage. They will be told that they are made to earn it. If they fail in doing so, take the shard back at your pleasure. If they are worthy, then take them on. If they fail you, we will send more, those who are interested. If you wish to make the deal sweeter, feel free to continue to promise patronage. If you have books of lore, artifice, things that the humans would have crafted, any knowledge of things that the conglomerate would have built, these are things that we seek. We would learn much from their relics, from their treasures.
We'll have to think on that. I'm sure we could come up with something. I've got some weapons that could be repaired. Who should I speak to?
We can
sir?
get that handled. If you're repairing your magic items, it'll cost you 150 per uptick. So if you've got like poor quality ones, that's 2 upticks. If you want to get them to superior, it'll take some more time. Are you staying in Bone Rock for a little while, or just leaving them here?
How long would it take?
Depends on how far up you're wanting to go. If you want to get them to superior, then it's going to cost 1, 2, 3, 4 upticks from poor, 2 upticks from normal quality, and it would take about 5 days. If you're just wanting to get him to regular quality, it'll take the rest of the day. You're here pretty early, actually. You would have noticed, even though you haven't exited a building yet, or you're inside of a mountain, you would have noticed back at Blue Gate that it was about morning time.
I would like to get the Sword of the Council and Sophia's sword both up to normal.
Okay.
One's fine and the other is poor.
The poor will cost you 300. The fine one will cost you 150.
And I'll have him take a look at the cases.
The
That
what?
was... How do you pronounce it? The fist weapon.
Oh,
That's
Cestus.
That's it. I just thought it was a hard C.
You see him kind of go.
Too.
I'm looking right at him.
Yeah, and he kind of gives you a look like.
I don't see what the problem is. You made a pitchfork for me. Do you not remember?
We have weapons that
I was a robot then.
he kind of like. May I?
Yeah.
As he pulls it off of your wrist, you realize why he's trepidatious. It just kind of falls into bits. Like,
I knew it, Jody. I knew it.
and he kind of looks at it and says,
Is it a spoon?
I think I know what the artificer... And you see him kind of stop and he goes, improvisationer was going for here, but it seems that they were very unskilled or they didn't have proper tools.
You
Go
son of a
slide to me.
bitch!
This seems to be a very poor waste of residuum, to be completely fair. Someone who has more residuum than they know what to do with. He shrugs
I
and
don't like
says,
these dwarves.
we can do better. In fact, I have better already if you'd like to accompany me, Master Vester. And you kind of go,
Do some fist chopping.
well, you kind of like blink for a second because he just called you by your name and you've never met. Or at least you think you've never met.
I don't care anymore.
All these people, everyone knows me. Same with
I didn't
fucking...
want to be famous.
Same with Benson. Everybody's here famous. The two of you will go off. The rest of you, you bought all the bags of holding that you could buy?
-1. Just enough. I have the red bag for myself, and there's one for everybody else.
Okay.
You're putting
yeah.
all your spooky shit in there.
It's pretty big. It weighs 50 pounds. I mean, it definitely... you don't have to hold it with your hands. You could tie it off or, like, kind of put it on. But if you've ever been to a convention and you've seen those dorks carrying around, like, the big, like,
Board game backpack.
That's right.
The one that Dieter had.
Yeah, the one that Dieter had and the one that I have.
If possible, I'd like to accompany Vester.
Okay. If everyone accompanies them, kind of leads you to an armory with a bunch of different weapons all about. And it looks like there's one dwarf in there who's currently testing what appears to be a spear, kind of stabbing it into a mannequin, a wooden kind of like practice doll.
When I see that,
He walks you over.
fucked up, guys.
He walks you over to a wall and he pulls off a couple of gauntlets with kind of like large kind of ringed things, and he says, please try these on. They might be a little big at first, but they will resize to you.
It's a pair?
Yep.
Okay. Would it fit with my swordsman's gauntlets that I've got on?
When you slide them on, they kind of are just glove size, so they're not... When I say
It's
gauntlet,
not a full arm.
Yeah, gauntlet was the wrong word. They're kind of like...
Gauntlet's more of like an arm brace.
Yeah, so the arm brace
These are
is
more
fine.
just a glove.
They're kind of like a glove. And then they've got the large kind of like knuckles, and you can see that there's like dwarvish runes that have been carved into it. And looking at it, you're like under the realization that if you were to punch somebody, it might leave that imprint on them. Looking at the dwarvish words, do you speak dwarvish?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I'll interpret it for him.
I'll like hold my hands out to
Yeah,
Raya.
if you look at them and translate, the one on the left has the runes for pain, and the one on the right has the runes for blood. And they're kind of like a bronzy colored set of gloves. And when you kind of set them on, you feel the fingers kind of fly back, like the armored fingers kind of slide back to allow your fingers like their normal movement. But when you clench your fist, they wrap back around and kind of lock over your fists. So you feel like you could hold something, but if you were to go in for a punch with them, it would change the dynamic of how they work.
But I would be able to still hold my sword, etc.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And then the second you kind of close those meat popsicles, it's game time. But they feel really good on your hands. They have a good weight to them, and they're not, terribly overbearing. They feel like they're there, but they don't feel like they're going to get in the way of anything, technique-wise. He looks at you and says, as he kind of holds the... It's not completely broken, but it is kind of just like a loose mess of, like, tatters, this cestus that you'd given. And he says, I will take this in trade, plus another 300 gold pieces if you have it.
It's bits and spoon, man.
Kind of do want to keep the spoon around.
He kind of goes, it's the main magical component. Apologies.
I know it is. The fist weapons, what do they seem to be composed of? Because initially the first Estus site wanted
Not
the
love
silver.
from Benson.
Bronze. And he kind of goes, interesting. May I? And he reaches for your hand.
Yeah.
Pulls it off, slides it onto his own, kind of closes it, pulls out a vial, and pours it across the top. You can see that it kind of shines silver at the edge, and he slams it into the ground. You can see like a trace kind of silver on it, but like it still kind of pools inside of the fist. Then he kind of relinquishes it, slides it off, and hands it back to you. We have a number of vials for changing the components of weapons such as these. We have silver, cold iron, red iron. I believe there's adamantine and mithril as well.
That's expensive.
They
How
are
much
cheap.
for how much for a full set?
A full set of these would cost 300 as well.
So a
The
total
most
of 600
expensive
gold
being
pieces.
the adamantine. I could sell you, if silver is important to you, he gestures towards the silver spoon, I could sell you those for 25 gold pieces apiece. It lasts for about an hour.
Fuck.
I'll take a full set
Mm-hmm.
and a couple extra silver.
So 3 silver. So 350 for that. And 300 plus this for the cestus. I'm going to check myself too, because after you guys both said it, I have doubts.
Doubts on what?
Pronunciation.
I could have sworn
No,
it was
that's
a
right.
hard C.
Cesta.
Huh.
Plural. Cestus is not plural. Cesti would be plural.
Yeah.
Hold on. Other people are saying it's Castus. I'll go into this.
Because it's
Kai-Stews.
Greek or whatever, right?
Oh, yeah, Kaistus. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Kai stews.
They don't do soft C's.
That's fun. Learning is
Latin.
great.
It is fun.
Everyone's always pronounced it Cestus.
I have never said cestus.
Well, now you have.
That was it, right
You
there.
did. Wow.
You never played enough.
Damn,
You
you
never
fell
said
for it.
Cestus. I've got you on 2 of them. One more, and I win
yeah, I can
a
afford.
free Coke.
I still said it wrong, but I never said that word.
Platinum piece is worth 10 gold, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I can afford it.
Cool. And in future, if you could please, Master Hand, I am absolutely, as we discussed before, willing to receive you at this teleportation circle, but I would prefer if certain preliminaries are made before you appear here so suddenly. If it is an issue and you are trying to get here in haste, I understand. But if not in future, please reach out to me through a sending spell. I am Ornaris, the master of the smithing circle.
That's a maybe.
Yeah, call and make sure they got their pants on.
Right, I wasn't even wearing pants. Luckily, my robe is hiding my erection.
It's like that dude's kitchen.
But who puts a teleportation circle in a kitchen? The interior designer on this place.
It wasn't his plan.
Right. He had the kitchen, and then someone built a teleportation
That's where
circle.
they had to do it.
Or
Do I?
go ahead.
So this is an armory with a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like a whole bunch. Like pretty much anything I can think of, like a hand replacements things, weapons even?
No, there's just traditional martial weapons.
Okay, I start telling a story about how it's like I knew this one dwarf that not to anyone to shambles, basically just off the wall, like off the cuff, kind of saying it's like there's this dwarf that was actually a real man's man, a real macho man that would like take these tours through this jungle, and he had one eye, and he was just real man's man. I really liked that dwarf. He was just stories of him just went through and through, very man's dwarf, macho man. It was really cool. I liked that guy.
Never heard of him. Must have happened
He's-
in some different plane of existence.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's some people who aren't as
You're
like
referencing
pretty.
Tome of Annihilation.
I am. I just like screw that dwarf. I don't like this dwarf.
Some dwarfs are cool. Some dwarfs
Yeah.
aren't.
Yeah,
Omaris.
must have been another plane.
Omaris is great. Is our business concluded?
I have one more question.
Of course.
What can you tell me about the blade Black Razor?
It resides high up in the Black Flame Mountains, or the excerpt of the Ice Fang that is held by the orcs of Black Flame. Dark Flame?
And if it
Dark
didn't anymore, would it be of interest to you?
It would be of great interest to the smithing circle to acquire it and destroy it.
What about Wave?
I have it.
The Trident
It's locked
Wave?
itself in my bag, and it doesn't want to come out.
That makes sense. It would need to be handled with care, as I'm sure you're already aware if you've handled it and were able to get it into your bag.
I have. He's not happy with me.
Doubtless it is hungry. From what I understand, it is
Very.
a soul-drinking sword.
Seems it had been hungry for quite some time, sitting in the mountain.
You seem to just run afoul of some of the most ancient and storied swords.
Don't I?
I've got Wave.
Well, I see the benefit.
I'm
in
cool
destroying
too.
it.
Not really paying attention to Christinger in the background.
I know.
Are we letting that be said, like, out loud? Because, like, if he hears that, he's gonna have questions there, too.
I'll wait.
Okay.
Till later.
I see the benefit of destroying it, but I'm also a man of coin. I'm sure you understand.
Of course.
Is there anything here you could offer our party?
It would be
to assist us in
beneficial
our journeys?
for it to be acquired by the circle so that it can be disposed of accurately and correctly.
Again, you are a group I trust to do well with it.
I suppose you just have a misfortune of finding these swords, and it is my lot in life to make sure that they are brought to the correct places. Ah, this one to its demise.
It's good to be needed.
I will have to inquire with the circle more directly as to what we can forfeit for this acquisition and destruction. As it
I would
will-
kind of point him at Grok and Rooklyn. Anything you could give to help either of these would be greatly beneficial.
Mhm.
Let
Looks
him
over,
go over their outfits.
I'm not swinging at anybody. So.
looks over to Grok. You really are a strange one. Just letting the natural way of it be your defense.
Kind of smacks his shell.
I assume you don't get into conflict very often.
Oh, I've been, thrown around by dragons once or twice.
Oh, I see here on your shell, yes.
Across the lake.
Only a quarter mile.
It does look like you are quite damaged.
This guy, fuck.
He kind of shrugs.
Threw a lot, but that was the coolest shit I ever saw.
I don't know what I would offer you, other than I could try and treat with others in hopes of attaining you an audience with allies of ours. Beyond that, I don't know what else I could offer you that we have here. I assume you are of an order that does not like wielding metal implements.
That is true.
As you can see, it is our livelihood to create such tools.
Although I do have this very nice scimitar here.
I understand the scimitars are a bit different amongst your brethren. Ah, I know what I can lend to you, or grant to you. One item or a couple of items, he says to Raya.
Whatever you feel is fair.
Hmm.
We are doing our best in and around this country to protect its people.
Since I insulted you regarding the Saint Sword, I will be a little bit more kind, as it seems that you are coming around to earn at least my understanding as to why the sword chose you. I will be charitable then. We have a sword that might aid your friend here. Looks to Grok. A pair of bracers, I think, might be beneficial. Boots. I think that will do for him. And then, who'd you say was the other person?
Brooklyn.
Ah, you see him kind of place his hand on the shield. Such perfection. You truly are fortunate. This appears to be a gift,
Yeah, my mom gave it to me.
and Karlaz himself must have given it to her. Very interesting. So powerful.
Carlos.
Karlaz.
Thanks for ruining the moment.
Karlaz was one of the saints, according
I might not
to
my shit to get repaired.
the
That's
order of life and death.
Just hanging out in the back.
You got time.
I believe that
Good
Karlaz
try.
was a saint who suffered on behalf of others. He was guided through life by a number of beings associated with the world. Aelith, Nermod, Ignos Kai, Lamak.
Sounds like a cool guy.
He nods. For a human, I suppose. There isn't much I can do to make this one better. He's the pinnacle of a fighting man.
Or Naris in the background coughing up the lung.
I suppose I can grant him.
I just want to make spaghetti without someone showing up in here.
I can grant you one boon. I can only think of one thing that will help you. It will require some changes in the way that you wear your itemry, but it might be something you would want. That is all I can offer you, Zadok Mishrael.
We will accept it humbly. If
I
I could
will.
have a room in private to fix my bag and try to convince it to come out.
If it is in your bag, this extra dimensional space, I believe the best means for us to acquire it would be through more magical methods.
And if I could just have a moment to remove all of my other objects.
No, you will be with the bag. You will watch as we remove it from it if other items in there are private. We mean no intrusion.
You would only remove the sword?
Correct.
Oh, that's fine.
But we would do so through magical means. And he kind of
Okay, go ahead.
claps his hands, and you see this guy come out with this big ass pair of bronze tongs covered with jewels and like dwarvish runes, and it's like this massive set of tongs. And he nods his head. Perfect. We can go to a private room if you wish, or we could do this here. And he takes the tongs from the other guy,
If you just gotta take the one thing out, then yeah, you go nuts.
spins it around. Hold the bag open, please.
Yeah.
He reaches in. You see him kind of fish around. You don't hear anything jangling about because it's not hitting anything. It's in an extra-dimensional space. And then
He's pretty ornery.
he yells in Dwarvish the name of the sword. Then you hear like a clang and then a he kind of slams his fists tight, the tongs slamming taut, and he kind of pulls the blade out and kind of tosses it, tongs included, off to the side. It lands,
There we
it doesn't
go.
move, and he kind of has relinquished the tongs, kind of looking at it. No, and in Dwarvish he yells to the people around him, "No one touch it!" And he kind of looks to the weapon. It will command
Flip
you
it
to
off.
kill all your allies. If swords could grimace, this one would be.
Yeah, that guy's a dick.
After the next few hours, the weapons that are being repaired are being repaired. The dwarf eventually comes to each of you in kind. To Grok, he comes to you with a scimitar, perfectly elvish in make, very keen, very specifically just very fast looking. It just looks like a very just perfect curvature. The elvish runes on the outside of it read a house name. The house name being Khila, Khila. And he says, the name of the weapon is not important, but the name read upon the weapon, Khila, is the command word to activate its abilities. I believe it will require some... Let me check. I believe it will require some connectivity with it, but it will be beneficial to you when you do so. He explains that it is a scimitar of speed. Scimitars of speeds are a +2 weapon, and you can make an additional attack during your turn as a bonus action.
Nope.
Super cool.
He then presents to you a set of bracers, and these bracers are very specifically attuned. In fact, they are charmed. You would see that there's a charm on them. The charm appears to have been wasted to some of you, you would think, but they are bracers of defense. But unlike a normal set of bracers of defense, they do not require attunement.
Nice.
Bracers of defense do.
+2 to your AC.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Really good.
Amazing.
Got any more of those?
What happened to Rock?
No, just the one.
Grok's going frontline.
And then
those in
the boots.
those in Brent's shield.
The boots that they present to the turtle, as he's presenting them, he says, I presume, based on what I understand of you, Master Mistrael, and your compatriots, stealth is something that you require. And I know that these could go to either, he gestures to Grok, or he gestures to Rooklyn. Either would probably benefit from these. But these would
Muffle
be
what you can, bud.
the last item I can grant to you. And you would know that these are boots of elven kind. Whichever one you want to put them on, you can. It doesn't matter. But I think the meaning of his statement is Grok is probably salvageable in the stealth department with these, whereas Rooklyn is kind of like an uphill struggle.
Or is this a required attunement item?
It does not.
So
The
whatever
only
you
thing
want.
that requires the attunement is the scimitar. And then to Rooklyn, he says, we acquired this item. It is a very potent magic item, but it is something we received from a member of your order long ago. We've kept it, as we keep some relics, but we did not want to destroy it because of its power and also because of its craftsmanship. He pulls forward from like a box a helmet made of mithril, kind of in the traditional Parnan style, Vendarin style, kind of like think like Mandalorian helmet but without glass, right? It has two kind of swept out kind of horn-like, think of Wolverine, right? Kind of like off to the side, and everything on the face and on the kind of front veins is covered with gems. Roll a d10, roll 2d10, roll 3d10, and then roll 4d10.
Okay.
1d10, 2d10, 3d10, 4d10.
6.
Okay. So it has a total of 6 diamonds, 9
7.
nine
I
rubies,
remember this.
22 fire opals, and 17 opals. You need to write that down. So, again, that's 6 diamonds, 9 rubies, 22 fire opals, and 17 opals.
Got it.
It is a helm of brilliance. And you go ahead and look that up, and it will require attunement.
Like shoot beams or do stuff like
You can
Here's a Helm of
cast.
Brilliance too.
I'll go ahead and read it. You gain the following benefits while you're wearing it. You can use an action to cast one of the following spells. Save DC 18. Use one of the helm's gems of the specified type as a component. Daylight, cast cost as an opal. Fireball, cast cost as a fire opal. Prismatic Spray, cast cost as a diamond. Or Wall of Fire, cast cost as a ruby. The gem is destroyed when the spell is cast and disappears from the helm. As long as it has at least one diamond, the helm emits dim light in a 30-foot radius when at least one undead is within the area. Any undead that starts its turn within that area takes 1d6 radiant damage. As long as the helm has at least one ruby, you have resistance to fire damage. As long as the helm has at least one fire opal, you can use your action and speak a command word to cause one weapon you are holding to burst into flames. The flames emit bright light in 10-foot radius, dim light additional 10 feet. The flames are harmless to you, and the weapon, when you hit with an attack using the blazing weapon, it deals an extra d6 fire damage. The flames last until you use a bonus action to speak the command word again, or until you drop or stow the weapon. Roll a d20 if you're wearing the helm, and take fire damage as a result of failing a saving throw against the spell. On a roll of a 1, the helm emits beams of light from its remaining gems. Each creature within 60 feet of the helm, other than you, must succeed on a DC 17 dexterity saving throw or be struck by a beam, taking radiant damage equal to the number of gems in the helm. The helm and its gems are then destroyed.
Your head can explode. Neat.
I am 100% attuning to that. I have an empty slot anyway.
They'll save DC 18 too. That's dope.
Yeah.
It's a lot of spells given to a half-caster.
Yeah, we got the weird part.
I believe this should suffice for the acquisition of Black Razor. We will notify your school, Lord, Master of the Hand, when the weapon is destroyed. If any residuum or anything is accrued from it, Master Mishrael, it will be sent to his school transactionally. Or do you wish to add it to the patronage for the potential teacher?
Do with it as you wish.
We will add it to the patronage.
Removed from the plane. Fine with me. You gonna do your thing over there, Vester?
He just got some weapons remade.
Oh, the wave?
We got some. If you wanted to jump in on it, yeah.
But yeah, is this bad? Do you need to
You
get
pull it
rid of
out.
this? Yeah.
You really did just go up to the Dark Flame Mountains and acquire all these, didn't you?
Yeah,
Ned
they needed
kicked us
my
out
help.
before
I'm their
we
chief.
finish, but yeah,
Did you find Whelm?
not
No, we
yet.
got locked out.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's on the to-do list.
That would have been a great gift for us as Whelm was forged here.
Yeah, I'll see
We'll
what
see
I
what we
can
can do
do.
about it next.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Got it. Scratch that. Yes, Whelm is forged here. Great.
Whelm was a hammer, right?
Yeah, it just looks like the. I went to double check it, and Whelm is. It has the same italicized text as Wave. Weapon, Trident, requires attunement by a god of the sea. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Incorrect. That would have been a great boon to us and ours. In fact, if you do go to acquire it, as you say, if you bring it here, we will do everything in our power to make sure it returns to the smithing circle. As for Wave, it was created by the merfolk of the Broken Blade Coast. We do not have much need of it. We know its potency, but
Here's a piece of can.
we don't really have much need for it. I can tell you that I can reach out to those merfolk. We have connections with folks in the Broken Blade Coast. If we are able to get any information as to what they are willing to grant you for it, we can bring that message forward to the master of, or the Hand of Mood is this school, and bring that.
If it has cultural significance to them, I suppose it should go back to them.
It absolutely.
Why don't you hold it here for now?
If you trust us to do so, we will.
Of
I have
course.
no reason not to.
Did you want a pair of boots of elven kind or bracers of defense? That no, I don't have extra bracers of defense.
I don't have anything on my.
No, those, If
Boot-
you got extra boots, we'll take them.
No, he's got winged boots. He can't wear them.
The rest of the party doesn't.
I was just
They-
kidding. I was doing a bit.
Don't require attunement.
I was doing a
Saves
joke.
me a spell slot.
I'm not a comedian. Why are people who aren't comedians telling jokes all the time?
Saves me
I
a
don't,
spell.
I don't need payment for this. If you truly intend to reward me, maybe do so once you've spoken with the merfolk.
Broker the deal and just send it to the Tower of the Hand.
Fair enough, but for us being granted the honor of maintaining an artifact of this power, we will refund you on your repair costs. If you're willing to wait a few more days, we can get them to a higher quality.
Tell you what, we'll come back this way in a couple days. I'll pick up the swords. I'm gonna take these knuckles first, but
All right. They will do some work on the swords, Sword of the Council, and Sophia's sword. Yeah, if you folks want to do anything else in Bond Rock, absolutely welcome to do so.
I got nothing.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go.
Smithing Circle is the coolest place.
At your
Don't worry,
leisure, if you could
almost
tell me
fine.
what the cases do.
Plus one, they're plus one set cases is
+1?
plus one, yeah.
Okay.
And when they take an oiling or oil of substance, which you have, they maintain it for 3 times the duration. So silvering your weapon with the oil of silvering usually lasts an hour. With chisis, it'll last for 3.
Is that one use per vial?
Yeah. So you have 3 oilings or oils of silvering. You have 1 oil of cold iron, 1 of red iron, 1 of mithril, and 1 of adamantine.
I'm gonna pass one of the silvering vials over to Benson. It's like, see if you can figure this out. This might come in handy to reproduce.
Okay. It'll take
If
some
he
time.
seems interested.
Vincent, man, I don't like these people.
Well, I know you don't, but sorry.
It's okay. It's fine.
I tried to jump in and do it for you. I can see the frustration on your face. I'll play diplomat on your behalf.
I appreciate it. I'm like, this is not what the school's about.
Yeah, wait till you get to the
Taking-
capital and you have to deal with the bureaucracy there.
I'm
just-
not gonna like that. The
I
whole
just got
point of
your
the school
permits,
is like,
dude.
no.
I just wonder what they would have done for the Hand of Gaibum. That thing. It's a cursed artifact.
Yeah,
Certainly not just put it on their hand.
they would not have done that.
I mean, yeah, only smart people would do that. So.
Someone would have thought of it.
A genius implemented it.
All you have to do is just shove it on yourself.
Alright, what else we got? Grog,
For our
any
next
good?
move.
No, I mean, I didn't expect this abundance of treasure. I'm good.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we hit treasure
thank
troves every once in a while.
Yeah.
Must mean that he's gonna throw something really, really nasty at us.
That doesn't.
We
I
could go
do want to
discover this
check in
gold
on the
dragon
orcs.
horde.
What are we doing?
Check in on the
I
orcs,
also-
then going to get the gold dragon horde.
Okay.
No, we need to investigate the Gold Dragon Sword, but we do need to check in with Dark Flame.
Okay.
Um,
So you have a teleportation circle there. So if you've got another teleportation circle casting, you can go ahead and throw it down and go.
I can do
we're
that.
running
It's
into timing constraints because me, the player, I'm going to be gone for the next 2 weeks for sure.
Okay.
And our next Dark Flame mission was to send about 500 troops under Vesper's command into the Black Fens. Start looking for.
That hasn't
Yeah,
happened
okay.
yet, though.
Orbicus?
That,
No, that's
No, it should
what
be our
we're
next
hoping
round.
to set up.
I don't
um,
want to start a mission that I'm a part of and then be gone for 2 weeks.
well, we could say that you're actually leading the 500, and then they're not doing that; they're doing something else. That could also work.
But we need to, figure something out in the next 20 minutes.
Sure. Okay. So teleportation circle to Darkflame.
Yeah.
You reappear back in the camps inside of the main bastion of the Dark Flame. orcs. A couple of orcs immediately kind of raise up weaponry as you appear, and then kind of like look towards you. They wait like a good 10 seconds
Give him a wave.
before they relinquish their weaponry and get back into kind of guard station. And then you would see an orc who you haven't met kind of step out to kind of greet you. He's wearing robes, all black robes with red markings along the kind of trim. At that gesture, or at that site actually, I need Benson to go ahead and make a history roll.
$29.
You would recognize these robes as being those of a Meridian cultist. Why he's wearing them, you're not sure, or whether or not he is one. But Meridian cultists basically are adherents to the aspects of undeath that are unnatural. They were kind of pushed underground by the Osirian people, and eventually rose up to power and then became the masters of the Darg province, which is to the north. Very powerful and potent spellcasters amongst their ranks, but according to what you can see here, the robes he's wearing mark him as a Meridian. But he's an orc. Meridians are typically human or undead. He steps forward. He sees you kind of looking at him, and he raises his hand. No, it's fine. The aspects of Darkflame are a bit different than those of societal understanding. We don't really care much for the traffickings or the markings of items if they are potent. The individual I pulled this one off of marked this as a very powerful boon to be worn. So I apologize if it alarms you, but I do not carry the sins that go with it.
Just
Looks good on you.
very shocking, yeah.
Wear it well.
Well, when you see more dark flames, you will see other items or artifacts that might seem taboo. But if they work,
Nah, man.
they work.
More power to you.
He nods his head and looks over to Vester. I am understanding that you return to ask a favor. The smokes.
Yes. Right.
The smokes have stopped, as it was said that you were going to do. A fog lies around that mountain now, but it no longer breathes its white plume into the sky. So whatever you did must have worked.
I'm certainly hopeful.
The Ninth Insider den, for sure.
All but their leader. I'm afraid he may have escaped.
Who
I
leads
do want
them?
those. A knight named Bluto.
He's blue.
He is a servant of.
Easy to spot.
Like his look at Chris and Jersey says blue toes, like, and then you say he's blue. He kind of looks at you, looks back at Shambles, like,
Yeah, he's bright blue. You
I did it.
cannot miss him. It's totally his fault.
well, I suppose if he were green, he would die. I'm done.
What?
I'm blue. Die,
Thank
die,
you,
die,
Eiffel
die. I'm
65.
done. I'm out. Forget it. I can't run D&D anymore. I'm not allowed to.
Anyway.
Okay, sorry.
I need a solid detachment to make their way towards the Black Fens, south of. Where was it exactly? Sorry.
Black Fens by Blackheart Lake.
Yes.
South of Stone Tooth.
East of Blackheart Lake.
We are familiar with it, as this is a command being issued by one of the chieftains. We will take it as an order and make our way there in stride. I will send one detachment, 500, to where you command. We are seeking out any specific individuals.
Eric
Man,
Galagos.
Not the chief.
Sorry, he should know
Eric Galagos.
by name.
He is a merchant lord. He is important to us. I
We are to
don't care
rescue
for him
him.
personally. Yes.
The way
I believe he is.
Apologies. The way he gestures to Riot, he said the name. It sounded like he wanted him dead.
A little bit of both.
What he
but
wants and what he needs are very different things.
This is a recovery mission.
We will recover
Alive or
him
dead, we
alive
do need to bring him back.
as best we can, and if we can find identifiers, we will require information regarding him unless one of you amongst your number wish to accompany us in this effort.
Sir
Yeah,
Zadok
that's me.
Mishrael has volunteered himself to accompany you.
Then we will make
Okay.
do with the elf's eyes and ears to lead us, to guide us in that direction.
I would pull out the arrow at that point and show it to him. The black arrow with the mithril tip, and see if it means anything to him. 'Cause this is the one that took him. Leading a tribe of giant monsters.
Interesting. These are the craftsmanship of the forest orcs. Very strange, to be sure. A lot in common with the wood elves of the low-lying lands, the mantle forest,
Bastards.
the Virens, the deep dark.
As a chieftain, I don't intend to spend your lives carelessly. I wish you to approach, look for this individual, see if you can find him. If he is alive, I want him to stay that way. We will be in contact with Sir Mishrael here, and hopefully be able to join you to retake this person.
Of course. I will make some preparations. You are familiar with the individual, Master Mishrael?
I am.
Accompany me.
I am. Right.
Yeah, accompany me, and I
Eric,
will
yeah.
require your
I was
assistance.
gonna I want to make sure if is it the son or the father, which one we got out of the tower.
Eric is the
same
father.
one we got
It's the
kidnapped?
same you got out of the tower. It was the
Okay.
same one who had.
Roderick,
What?
Roderick's
But-
way cooler than Eric.
There's been some shit. I mixed some stuff up.
Spickle was with him. Yes, it was that guy.
Also Spickle, if you can rescue him.
Actually, new mission: rescue Spickle. If you get a hold of Eric as
Beetle up.
well,
Fuck
that's
no. Spickle matters.
I love Spickle.
I don't know that Spickle will be with him though, because the girl that was also like his right hand, you talked to her at the gladiator arena after he'd been kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she wasn't captured with him the first time.
Right. She wasn't.
Yeah, she was locked up upstairs. We released her.
Was she?
She was, but she wasn't like his bodyguard. She's his leader of
Right, but it's still weird.
She's like the master at
Sure.
arms, whereas Spickle was like his bodyguard.
Okay. Oh, he did.
Prob-
Well, we never saw a goblin corpse
Right.
bar.
You did not. You would have recognized a goblot with a
He's
pot
like
on his
bright
head.
red.
Yeah, yeah. And
Wearing
goblots
pots
are
and pants.
well, goblots are kind of like they kind of have like a goblin shark like features, and they're also like more rocky because they come from the mountains. So yeah, he's not a regular. Because goblins, there's hundreds of different variations of goblin in the world. Anywho, he would take Master Mishrael, and basically, out of character, just a quick synopsis of what's going to happen in that regard. Jeremy, I will cover it in more detail in side chats, but he's taking you to a scrying pool, and with your assistance, he's going to scry Eric to find out exactly what his state happens to be. And you can report that before the end of this session, so I'll just go ahead and notate it. Eric is alive, appears to be incarcerated in some very dank kind of crypt.
Whoever's holding the crystal ball, if you guys want updates on that as we go.
Oh, it's not a crystal ball, it's a big ass pool of water.
I know. We have the
I
scrying
have
ball.
a crystal ball.
Okay. Yeah, you can scry as well.
There's one of those in the party still.
Yeah, it allows you to scry from it. But yeah, he's using the scrying method of actually casting the spell, and yeah, you'd be able to kind of see kind of what's going on there. You'd also note that there does appear to be a cell near him. You can't really see much of the outside surrounds in a scrying spell. Just kind of get an idea that he's alive and kind of where he's at and what he's doing. But you would note that he seems to be talking to someone, and that individual sounds like a small goblin creature.
Cool.
That said, the other party members, what's your plan?
Chody looks just like me right now.
Well, I don't want to go to the dragon horde if Raya's not with us, because if we get into trouble, there'd be 4 possible dragon.
Tell you what,
No.
we don't
This-
necessarily
this-
want to go. Go ahead.
That's what's his name from Wraithhold or Wraithbound, whatever.
I'll run.
Yeah, Alron. That's his former holdup. So you're just going to investigate to see what might have happened if he has any weaknesses that are still there.
Okay, gotcha.
there shouldn't be a dragon in it.
We're doing a scouting mission. We are
Because
not.
as soon as we went into
taking
Mystery
it.
Mountain, we were in dragon territory. So if we were trespassing there, a dragon should have come out and killed us already.
You
So
will
I'd say we go ahead.
you will note when you do get outside, the mountain is covered in mist, and it's the same gray mist that kind of descended upon you when you were at the mountain. So
Back to hill.
presumption is that still might be gateway town to the afterlife. It does not appear to be including the site where the dragon would be located.
How about in the direction of Ruby Eye? I know we can't see it because the mountains are here and there, but do we get the idea that Ruby Eye is also covered by mist?
Oh no! It's literally just that one mountain, and Ruby Eye's way
Got
over
it.
there. So no, it's
Is
the
it-
one mountain
I
basically.
wasn't sure if it was the full range.
Yeah, it had a plume coming out of the top of it, right?
Right.
Now it doesn't, and instead of that, it has like a big ass, like kind of like meaty kind of pillow of fog just around its base.
Is that just the hex that the mountain indicator's on, or would
Yeah.
it be like all adjacent?
Just the
ones?
hex of the map, or that
one, okay.
that one, and then you can see that this position here is where the dragon's horde is, or where the dragon's lair was. Whether or not there's a horde there is up to investigation. Okay, so is that the plan?
I would say, yeah, scout that, and then
Okay.
assuming we have downtime waiting for Raya to contact us,
Before you
we go
part,
check out Ruby Eye.
Before you part, I would assume that Raya kind of steps out of the orc sorcerer's kind of building or camp or tent, and then kind of moves out into the courtyard, just as Benson and company are kind of moving in their direction. I would assume Benson and Raya would kind of stop for a second, just kind of give each other a look. If there's anything you want to talk about before you two split up again, feel free to discuss. You know, a lot's happened since the last time you guys really talked.
I'll sit on the ground nearby, pack my
Don't go
pipe.
making any deals up in a dragon's horde.
Yeah, I need your help for some of your people to keep an eye on this dwarf that's coming in, this artificer. I don't trust him.
I trust them just fine. Seem like pretty good people.
Okay, then. Never mind.
I genuinely don't think there's anything wrong with the dwarves.
I do. I don't like them. The whole point is that the school is supposed to be for people who aren't wealthy, who aren't there, the people who have a heart for it, and they are
And I
not
don't
that.
disagree with you at all. I support your school in every aspect. Point being, we broke a law we didn't know about, and you just have to go before the Capitol and plead your case.
Okay.
Still keep an eye on the guy. You got Mardigans laying around. The place is crawling with Mardigans.
Yeah, I don't control them, nor do they control me. We can ask favors of one another, but
I
that
think
gets
that's what it's
costly.
Understood.
I
There's a
took
cost.
down a rival organization for them.
If you genuinely want eyes on somebody in the town of Bluegate, and you want people that I know to watch them, you know the very methods to get that done.
Well, okay, so I just want to make sure you guys are getting what I'm trying to get out here. There has not really been a resolution to the last time.
I know. The whole
Okay.
point
No.
is that we're acting like it didn't happen.
Got it.
It's
Oh
at
no,
least
I'm
I
leaving
am on
you
my
guys as
side.
fans. I'm still mad at you, but yeah, if you want stuff done, get it done. You know exactly where the Mardigans are.
Brooklyn, one more
You're letting
note,
them run drugs to your basement, so
one more note before they run away. Zadok Mishrael still has the
Oh yeah, I need Hazil's egg from you.
sure, I'll pull it out.
It glows very brightly. It's kind of pulsing. It's got a heat to it, not like burning hot, but like
Damn it.
cozy. Like if you put this under a blanket while you're sleeping, perfect.
I love that. I'll hold it for a little bit before putting it in my bag of holding.
It's at that moment everyone kind of has this realization, like it's a good thing he didn't have it before. He probably would have put it out. Who knows what that would have done aboard the train in the middle of the plane of undeath.
Curious?
I don't get it.
Fair enough. Okay.
Dumb magic bird.
Right.
Thank you.
Not this guy. I know that.
You and the individual, the orc whose name is
Me and 500 of my best.
Kellen is the name of the orc sorcerer. You lot go to basically gather the troops and learn more about what you're doing on that end. Great. Benson, Shambles, Grok, and Brooklyn, your plan of attack is to head towards the former lair of the dragon known as Alron, who became now Nephondus. Correct?
Right. What's her name? The dragon mage. Is that where she would be too? Where she was
No.
last?
Alessia? No, she's still in
Alicia.
Pelham.
She's still in Bellum. Okay.
Okay, that's 4 hexes, and one of them is out in the open, and 3 of them are in forest side. So I need one person to roll a d20, and then I need one person to roll 3 d20.
On it.
Not you though. You don't get
Nice.
to.
Damn it! I wanted to curse them.
You were close to doing it.
I didn't look at
I'll
what you
do the
rolled.
3.
I should have said yes. Damn it.
14, 8, 6 for the 3.
Okay.
I'll roll the 1.
Okay.
The fuck, I'm on my way out.
For the remainder of the day, towards the evening time, you spend it traveling. You make it to the site of the, based on your map, where the dragon would have laid? Lied.
Lane.
Lane, that's good. That's probably even better. You would see that it's basically just not really much of anything. But outside of it, you do notice that there are quite a few dead bodies. Looking at them, you realize that the dead bodies happen to be smaller kind of creatures. Goblins. There are some kobolds. It looks like there are a couple of halflings and gnomes as well. You'd also see a couple of humanoid, like medium-sized humanoids as well. It looks like there was some sort of conflict here, based on your distance, but they kind of lay there. The thing that you most notice about it is that their state of decay is very different, kind of ranges the gamut across the board. How would you like to
Great.
approach?
I guess whichever is closest from the southwest.
Okay.
I'll turn it over, take a look at the body.
All right. You kind of head out, looking at the pile of bodies. No, not pile, but grouping of bodies. Move to the closest one, which happens to be a halfling. You would see that it looks like there is a very fine-looking hole kind of bore through his chest. His mouth is kind of open and kind of surprised, and his eyes are kind of widened in shock. His skin is very pale. He looks very cold. But you'd also notice that like the extremities are kind of filled out with blood, and he's just kind of like laying in state, deceased. Looking at the halfling, curiously enough, you're pretty sure you saw him in the train car when the music was playing. He
Would I
appears,
recall seeing him make it through the Blackmore bomb?
you aren't sure about him specifically.
You're seeing the bodies of the souls that you saw.
Some of them, yeah.
You're recognizing the
Yeah.
material plane. You met the soul.
Right.
It's not the same
Of
person that
this
was on
one.
the train. Yeah.
Right.
He was asking, did he see the
I'm asking
spirit
if it was any of the ones that got through
to the plane
to
of
that other plane we escaped to.
healing magic that you apparently lucked the fuck into?
I think this is where he died, and he just got on the train with us.
Possibly.
What killed him is the
Uh,
question, though.
Probably that big asshole.
Well, no,
It's a
really.
safe assumption.
Some of the bodies, from what you're looking at, are unrecognizable. They've kind of decayed enough where they've been picked at by some kind of scavenger beast. This one appears to be the freshest. Your assumption is this individual, this halfling, this one closest further out, might have been here for maybe a 6 day, if that, based on his state of decomposition. Like there's blood pooling in his edges. He's very much locked in rigor mortis, and he definitely smells really bad due to the hole in his chest. as everything's kind of evaporating out of there.
And the warmer.
I don't know anything about medicine, but I'm going with the hole the chest did it. You said it was a very, like, smooth bore?
Yeah, like something just punctured right through him.
Could I examine him to try to suss out exactly what, like more specifically?
No, medicine's not going to help. It literally is something about like 6 inches, maybe 8 inches in diameter.
Mhm.
Probably closer to 6 inches, actually. That literally just drove right through him. There are no signs of that implement, but that's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll just take a look at a couple other bodies.
Okay.
We're coming up on time.
Anybody else? And Grok, you came out to inspect as well. Brooklyn?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just walk up with them,
Okay.
like investigate the site where it looks like.
As you're inspecting, there's the mouth of the cave, which is very massive, by the way. It's not like a small cave. It's like 30 feet high, probably 50 foot wide. You hear what sounds like hoofbeats, kind of trampling on stone. As you kind of look towards the cave, you realize that it's echoing out of the cave mouth. And from the shadows, you see a
Vincent's horse.
horse with a rider. The horse is pitch black. Its eyes glow soft white. The rider atop the horse, adorned in black armor. He holds a lance in one hand and a massive shield in the other. On that shield, a death's head. And that's where we'll pick up next session. Thanks for watching.
Hail, friend.
Jolly Roger.
We will see you next week for
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Halloween.